and adulation he deserves.
It's like unconquered territory. So
On August 9th, 1986, Freddie Mercury stepped onto the stage for the final time. His doctor had warned him not to perform. His voice was weakening, but he defied the advice, determined to give fans one last unforgettable show. During the haunting ballad Who Wants to Live Forever, tragedy struck in the crowd as a fan lost their life, casting a shadow over the performance. What unfolded next stunned everyone. John Deacon's sudden outburst and Freddie's mysterious disappearance after the show sparked endless speculation. Today, we uncover what really happened during Queen's last concert. Freddie Mercury was born on September 5, 1946, in Zanzibar, a small island and part of a British protectorate. His parents were Parsi and practiced Zoroastrianism, one of the world's oldest religions. Freddie's birth was unusual. He was born with 4 extra teeth, which he later believed contributed to his remarkable 4-octave vocal range. Growing up, Freddie was surrounded by African, Arab, and Indian cultures, influences that would later shape his music and style. At age 8, Freddie was sent to a British-style boarding school, St. Peter's, near Mumbai, India. It was he began calling himself Freddie, and where his passion for music took root. A teacher recognized his talent and advised his parents to pay extra for music lessons, a pivotal decision that changed the course of his life. At just 12 years old, Freddie formed his first band, the Hectics, covering rock and roll hits by Cliff Richard and Little Richard. He also adored Bollywood legends like Lata Mangeshkar, whose soaring vocals deeply inspired him. Freddie's life changed again in 1964 when the Zanzibar Revolution forced his family to flee for their lives. Thousands were killed, and the Mercury family escaped to England, settling in a modest home in Feltham near London. Despite the tough transition, Freddie remained focused. He enrolled at Ealing Art College to study graphic design, a skill he would later use to create Queen's iconic logo. To support himself, he worked odd jobs, including washing dishes at Heathrow Airport. During his time at Ealing, Freddie met Tim Staffel, whose band Smile featured guitarist Brian May and drummer Roger Taylor. When Tim left in 1970, Freddie joined the band and suggested a new name, Queen, because it sounded grand and powerful. The group played their first gig in June 1970 at a charity event. A year later, they found bassist John Deacon and solidified their lineup. Around this time, Freddie legally changed his last name to Mercury, inspired by a lyric in one of his songs. Mother Mercury, look what they've done to me. Queen's early albums didn't find instant success. Their debut in 1973 barely charted, and their second album in 1974 peaked at just number 49 in the UK. But their third album, Sheer Heart Attack *, featured Killer Queen, and everything changed. Freddie wrote the song in one sitting, starting with the lyrics, a rare approach for him. The track, about a high society prostitute, became a hit, climbing to number 2 in the UK and number 12 in the US. It was a turning point, although not without tension. Roger Taylor worried its playful tone might make people question their credibility as a rock band. Then came Bohemian Rhapsody star. Released in 1975 as part of A Night to the Opera *, the song took 3 weeks to record, included 180 overdubs, and cost £40,000, making it the most expensive single ever at the time. EMI executives doubted it would succeed due to its 6-minute length, but Queen refused to cut it. Their manager leaked the song to DJ Kenny Everett, who played it 14 times in one weekend, sparking massive demand. It topped the UK charts for 9 weeks and became even more iconic after Mercury's death, returning to number 1 for another 5 weeks. In the US, it initially peaked at number 9 in 1976, but after its appearance in Wayne's World * in 1992, it soared to number 2. The groundbreaking video for Bohemian Rhapsody *, filmed in just 4 hours for £4,500, featured the band's 4 faces in a prism shape using visual feedback. It revolutionized music videos, setting a new standard for the industry. Queen continued pushing boundaries in later videos. In I Want to Break Free *, they famously dress in drag, parodying the British soap opera * Coronation Street star. Though humorous, it was banned by MTV in the US. Meanwhile, Radio Gaga feature clips from the film Metropolis with Queen paying $100,000 just for the rights. Their live shows were equally revolutionary. During their 1975 A Night at the Opera tour, they used an elaborate lighting setup with 168 lights and 12 aircraft landing lights, so large it required its own generator. By 1986, at the height of their fame, Queen's lighting rig at Wembley featured over 1,000 lights in a 5-ton crown-shaped structure. Freddie's stage presence evolved dramatically. At first shy, he often stayed behind the piano. His signature MIC stand, used without its bottom half, was born from a performance accident when the stand broke. Finding it freeing, Freddie made it part of his iconic image. Over time, his flamboyance grew. In 1973, he began painting his nails black, inspired by Jimi Hendrix, and started wearing dramatic glam rock outfits designed by Xander Rhodes. In 1976, he donned his famous Harlequin jumpsuit, a skin-tight costume that had to be sewn onto him before every show. Freddie Mercury's legend is built not only on his voice and music, but on his fearlessness, creativity, and ability to transform pain into power. His final performance in 1986 may have ended with mystery and tragedy, but it also marked the culmination of a career that forever changed music. From Zanzibar to global superstardom, Mercury's legacy continues to inspire and captivate generations. In the 1980s, Freddie Mercury transformed his image yet again. He grew a thick mustache and adopted a more macho appearance, wearing leather pants and military-style jackets, a look inspired by New York's gay club scene. Despite this tougher persona, Freddie retained his signature flamboyance. In the controversial I Want to Break Free video, he appeared in drag, still sporting his mustache, which confused many viewers and stirred backlash. His stage antics also grew more outrageous. During the Hot Space tour in 1982, he famously rode on the shoulders of crew member dressed as Darth Vader while singing We Will Rock You. In Japan, he stripped down to just a pair of shorts mid-performance, removing pieces of his costume as the concert went on. His charisma and bold style made each performance unforgettable. The 1980s were a time of experimentation and challenge for Queen. In 1981, the band released Hot Space *, which leaned into disco and funk, genres Freddie and bassist John Deacon were eager to explore. However, many fans disliked the new direction. The single Body Language pushed boundaries with its lyrics and sensual music video, which MTV banned. Undeterred, Freddie continued to pursue creative freedom. In 1985, he released his first solo album Mr. Bad Guy a dance-heavy project he spent 2 years crafting in Munich. The album showcased synthesizers and high production detail, and Freddie's love for his cats, to whom he dedicated the record. Though it reached the UK top 10, it flopped in the US, yet it gave Freddie the confidence to keep innovating. In 1987, Freddie collaborated with opera star Montserrat Cabal on the album Barcelona *, fusing rock and opera in a powerful blend that highlighted his vocal range. The title track later became the anthem for the 1992 Barcelona Olympics, though Freddie never lived to witness it. Meanwhile, Queen faced internal struggles. After Hot Space *, the band toured, but by the end of 1982, they needed a break. Tensions were high. Brian May later admitted, "We hated each other for a while." During the recording of their 1984 album The Works May was so frustrated he walked out and spent hours alone in a park. John Deacon unexpectedly disappeared to Bali without telling anyone, leaving the band stunned. Freddie joked about it by singing Bali High from South Pacific Star. Controversy continued when Queen performed in Sun City, South Africa, in 1984, despite international protests against apartheid. They were banned by the Musicians' Union and criticized by the United Nations. Later, at a concert in Rio in 1985, the crowd booed them. Internally, Freddie's personal life was in turmoil, largely due to his manager Paul Prenter, who created friction within the group. Brian May refused to even name him in interviews, referring only to the guy who looked after Fred. Everything changed on July 13, 1985, when Queen performed at Live Aid Star. Despite vocal issues, Freddie insisted on going on stage. At 6:41 p.m., they launched into a 21-minute set that included pieces of Bohemian Rhapsody, Radio Gaga, and We Are the Champions. Freddie's showmanship stole the spotlight. During Radio Gaga, he famously led the crowd in synchronized clapping, creating an iconic moment seen by 1.9 billion viewers worldwide. Backstage, Elton John told them, "You bastards, you stole the show." The performance revitalized Queen and sparked a new creative wave. Inspired, the band began work on *A Kind of Magic*, the soundtrack to the film *Highlander*, centered around immortality. They recorded using digital technology for a more modern sound. The title track, originally written by Roger Taylor, was reworked by Freddie, causing tension. Who Wants to Live Forever, written by Brian May after a scene from the film, featured an 80-piece orchestra and became one of Queen's most emotional ballads. In 1986, Queen launched their biggest tour ever, * The Magic Tour Star. Spanning 26 shows across 9 countries in just 8 weeks, the tour featured a massive 160-foot wide stage with walkways into crowd, over 8 miles of cables, and a 20-foot video screen requiring its own generator. The sound system was so powerful that residents miles away complained about the noise. On August 9, 1986, Freddie took the stage at Knebworth Park at 6:41 p.m., unaware it would be his final live performance with Queen. An estimated 120,000 fans packed the venue. Freddie, in his trademark white tank top and tight jeans, looked confident, but his health was declining. His doctor had warned him that morning not to perform due to an inflamed throat. Still, he refused to cancel. Despite moments when his voice cracked, such as during Under Pressure, he turned to the audience, inviting them to sing along, turning flaws into unforgettable moments. At 8:03 p.m., they played Who Wants to Live Forever. The lyrics hit differently, resonating as if Freddie was singing about his own life. At 8:17 p.m., they launched into Bohemian Rhapsody. Freddie, defying his vocal limitations, sang parts of the operatic section live, even hitting a high note he hadn't attempted in years. The crowd erupted. The show closed with We Are the Champions, during which Freddie's voice cracked again, but he held the note defiantly. The crowd's roar could be heard in nearby villages. At 8:59 p.m., the band played God Save the Queen, typically their farewell song. But Freddie lingered. He stood still, eyes closed, then bowed deeply and said, "Thank you, lovely people. Good night and sweet dreams." At 9:02 p.m., he exited the stage, his final live moment as Queen's frontman. Backstage, turmoil continued. Just 18 minutes before the concert, John Deacon, usually the calm and reserved bassist, shocked everyone by violently throwing his bass guitar across the dressing room, nearly hitting Roger Taylor's drum tech. It was the most upset anyone had ever seen him in 15 years. Later, he confided in Brian May, "I can't do this anymore." Queen's final concert was not only an epic farewell for Freddie Mercury, but also a turning point for the band, filled with emotion, backstage tension, and an unforgettable legacy that would echo long after the lights went down. It was all too much for John Deacon. He seemed to sense that this might be their last concert with Freddie Mercury. Tensions ran high. Deacon even argued with the sound engineer over his bass levels. Despite his clear distress, when he walked on stage, he delivered one of the most powerful performances of his life. That night, however, was marred by tragedy. During the emotional performance of Who Wants to Live Forever, a 23-year-old fan named Michael Jennings collapsed just 50 meters from the stage. Medics responded quickly, but he was pronounced dead at 9:43 p.m. as Queen was playing Bohemian Rhapsody. The band didn't learn about it until after the show. Jennings had an undiagnosed heart condition, and the excitement of the concert, coupled with the intensity of a 120,000-strong crowd, proved too much. Just 2 days before, he had won his ticket in a radio contest. His friend Sarah, who was with him, recalled how he kept saying it was the best night of his life, until he suddenly collapsed. This heartbreaking loss led to stricter safety regulations for large concerts in the years that followed. After the show, Freddie Mercury did something uncharacteristic. He left the stage immediately. Normally, he would stay for post-show celebrations and chat with crew members, but this time he rushed off. According to his assistant Peter Freestone, Freddie had received a troubling call from his doctor before the show regarding his health. The physical toll of the performance and the emotional weight of the news visibly affected him. He even forgot his silver bracelet, a piece he'd worn to every show since 1977. A cleaner found it later and returned it. On the ride back to London, Freddie sat in silence, dabbing at his eyes with a handkerchief, clearly lost in thought. Backstage, he had quietly turned to Freestone and whispered, "I don't know if I can do this." Roger Taylor later remembered finding Freddie alone in the dressing room. Freddie looked up and simply said, "Darling, I think I've given it my all." At the time, Roger thought he was just tired, but he later realized Freddie had been saying goodbye. Roger keeps a drumstick from that night in his studio to this day, as a reminder of their final show together. Deacon, who has long stepped away from public life, later admitted it was the hardest performance of his career. He even cried during "These Are the Days of Our Lives," sensing that it might be their last time playing together. For the band, that night truly felt like the end of an era. Freddie Mercury's life was filled with love, pain, and deep personal connections. One of the most important relationships in his life was with Mary Austin, whom he met in 1969 when he was 24 and she was 19. They quickly fell in love, moved in together, and got engaged. But in 1976, Freddie told Mary he was bisexual. She gently responded, "No, Freddie, I think you're gay." Though their romantic relationship ended, their emotional bond remained unshakable. Freddie often called Mary his one true friend and left her half his fortune, including his mansion, in his will. She stayed by his side until the very end and, honoring his wishes, kept the location of his ashes a secret. Freddie also had other meaningful relationships. He met hairdresser Jim Hutton in 1985, and they remained together until Freddie's death in 1991. He was also close to Austrian actress Barbara Valentin, and at times the three spent time together. Freddie's personal life was complex, often with overlapping relationships, reflecting his inner struggles with identity and love. Born in 1946, Freddie came of age in a time when being gay was illegal in many places. Though he knew he liked men early on, he often hid it. When asked about his sexuality, he would dodge the question, sometimes calling himself as gay as a daffodil in a playful yet guarded way. Beyond music, Freddie was a passionate collector and artist. Trained in art and design, he loved paintings, owning works by Picasso and Dali, as well as Japanese woodblock prints and antique glass. He even commissioned portraits of his cats. His mansion was filled with rare, beautiful objects, reflecting his deep appreciation for visual beauty. Freddie's battle with AIDS was something he kept private for many years. He was diagnosed with HIV in April 1987, though some signs appeared as early as 1982, such as a suspicious lesion on his tongue. Despite persistent rumors and press speculation, particularly by British tabloids, Freddie denied the truth. The stigma around AIDS during the 1980s was enormous, and Mercury chose to protect both himself and those close to him. Only a few people in his inner circle, like Peter Freestone, knew the truth. Freddie had seen many friends die of AIDS, and the fear haunted him constantly. He avoided questions even from his bandmates. Brian May once said they never asked because Freddie made it clear he didn't want to talk about it. Mercury poured more love into his cats than into most relationships. He would call home just to check on them when away. On November 23, 1991, just one day before his death, Freddie released a public statement confirming his AIDS diagnosis. The next day, he passed away at age 45 due to pneumonia brought on by AIDS. Jim Hutton described his final hours as peaceful, saying Freddie looked calm and radiant. His death brought an end to years of speculation and silence. Despite his illness, Freddie never stopped creating. In 1990, Queen recorded *Innuendo Star. The band adjusted their schedule, working 3 weeks on and 2 weeks off so Freddie could rest. Doctors had warned he didn't have long, but Freddie's determination never wavered. When Brian May doubted whether he could record the demanding vocal for The Show Must Go On, Freddie downed a shot of vodka and said, "I'll do it, darling." He delivered the performance in a single take. His final recording session was on May 22, 1991, when he recorded A Winter's Tale. The song appeared posthumously on the album *Made in Heaven*, released in 1995. Freddie's last public appearance was at the 1990 Brit Awards, where Queen received a Lifetime Achievement Award. He looked frail and thin, shocking many fans. Brian May gave most of the speech, while Freddie simply said, "Thank you, good night." Those few words were his last public statement, a quiet, graceful farewell. By June 1991, Freddie rarely left his Kensington home. His condition deteriorated rapidly. He lost his sight and mobility, spending most days in bed. On November 22nd, he stopped all medication except for pain relief. That same day, he and Queen's manager Jim Beach prepared the public statement announcing his illness. Freddie Mercury died on November 24, 1991. In the wake of his passing, his legacy only grew. Asterisk Made in Heaven Asterisk sold over 20 million copies, and Queen's Asterisk Greatest Hits Asterisk became the best-selling album in UK history. Freddie Mercury's voice, charisma, and courage continue to inspire millions, proving that even in death, the show truly must go on.